Well, good afternoon again. This is Father Richard Boyle, your erstwhile Servite friar, and I'm here in the Basilica of Saint Peregrine in Forlì. And what you're looking at right now is, I'm going to step back to show you how incredible this is. But this is a reproduction, although it looks like the real thing, of the fresco in the community room where Saint Peregrine experienced his healing. So this is the image in front of which Saint Peregrine experienced his dream of Christ touching him and healing him from the cancer in his leg. This is exactly the image he prayed in front of, with our Blessed Mother there and Saint John at the foot of the cross. So I'm going to step back so that you can see the context here of where I am standing. And you'll see that this is a special situation. So I'm in the basilica and I'm backing down the main aisle. And what you can see is that up in the sanctuary, there's a little platform on the stage, a table with red tablecloth, and then a large display up above. And it's all being lit professionally over here. And you can see over there that there are gentlemen there with lots of electronic equipment, because what's going to be happening here this evening is a big presentation here in the city of Forlì. Every month they do something special about the history and culture of the area. So you can see up there, and of course everybody can read Italian, right? Well, maybe not yet, but I think if you stick with me long enough through my little videos here, you're going to learn some Italian at least, because I'm going to teach you a little bit. Not that I'm an expert, not that I speak perfect Italian, far from it, but I know a little bit about it. So what it says up top is un'opera al mese, a work of the month, or of the month that we're celebrating. And today is obviously Sunday, the 4th of May, Domenica 4 Maggio, ore 18:30, that's 18:30, which would be 6:30 this evening, in the Basilica of San Pellegrino Laziosi, which is in Piazza GB Morgagni in Forlì. That's the address, basically, of the basilica here. So I'm going to try to translate what it says below there. In Italian, it's Il Professor Fabio Massacesi, docente di storia dell'arte medievale presso l'Università di Bologna, presenta l'affresco Cristo crocifisso con la Vergine e San Giovanni, 1310, di Giuliano da Rimini, conservato nella Basilica di San Pellegrino Laziosi. So what that is the professor, whose name is Fabio Massacesi. He's a docent or teacher of the history of medieval art under the, or in the University of Bologna, which has a branch here in Forlì, and he's going to present a discussion or a description of this fresco. There's an image of it up there, and it's the one I showed you right over there. The image in front of which Saint Peregrine knelt, and this is an image which is actually, the original is retained in the old community room of the old convent. It still can be seen. It's not secreted away or painted over or anything, but it's not often viewed by the public sort of one-on-one. So various copies of it have been made, and this is one of them. It is a most beautiful one, one that you might find in a museum. But it is exactly the way it appears in the community room. And what he's going to do, he's going to talk about it, and it's titled Christ Crucified with the Virgin and Saint John. And of course we can see that's exactly the scene. And that's a scene which is iconic to the Servites. We have the Feast of Mary at the foot of the cross, which is this scene described in the Gospel of Saint John. And of course, that's St. John there at the foot of the cross. And he writes about that scene and in which Jesus speaks from the cross, and he speaks to his mother and says, "Woman, behold your son," referring to St. John, and then including all of us becoming children of the mother. And then to St. John he says, "Son, behold your mother." And that makes us all children of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So he's going to give a talk about this piece of art as an example of medieval art here in the locale of Forlì. So it's really, really going to be fascinating. And if I turn around, then of course you'll see the rest of the basilica, and you'll see that some extra chairs have been put up here on the side, and people are already beginning to come in. It's going to be rather exciting. Now, it is about 5:30 here, and people are coming in, so I'm not going to let this video run forever and ever. I'm going to run around the side, let you see some of the background. And by the way, here is a statue of the Blessed Virgin right here at the side of the altar with the candles representing the many, many prayers of people, and the regular sanctuary there. If we turn back to the side, we're going to walk down the side here, and what we'll reach again is the chapel of Saint Peregrine. But here is all of the professional electronic equipment that is going to be controlling the lights and the sound for this evening's presentation. And it's all right next to the chapel of Saint Peregrine here, which is where this evening, my dear friends, at 9 o'clock or so, after everything is finished here in the Basilica, that I will celebrate Mass using this altar here, which is right below the entombed body of Saint Peregrine that you can see right up there at the top with the light shining down on the body. This is really such a striking, beautiful, emotive, emotional place where people have been coming literally for hundreds of years. Can we join ourselves in prayer, just thinking about that alone? And you all will be here tonight with me in prayer as I set up the camera and film all of this for you as we pray together, and as I place on the altar all those hundreds and hundreds of envelopes with your prayerful intentions for Saint Peregrine. So that's it for the moment. I'm going to take another little break, and the activities of the evening, but the activities of the whole week continue, because really during the Feast of Saint Peregrine, which here in Forlì, as I've mentioned before, is on the 1st of May, not the 4th of May. And what we will do is follow through on all of the rest of that. So for the moment, I say, as I conclude all of these videos, may the Blessed Virgin Mary watch over us and you with Christ, her Son. We'll see you in a little while.